when the book that I published and co-authored was published in April 2019, there was not that much of information about how exactly Facebook had weaponized itself. I mean, how Facebook had been converted into a propaganda weapon and how it was abused by the ruling regime and specifically right-wing groups. Now, the few points that I want to add to what the speaker before me, Meetali Jain, has said is that, and I'll also want to draw a little bit on my personal experiences, is that the government of India knows exactly what's happening, but chooses not to act. From time to time, different government spokespersons have said that they're very worried about WhatsApp being used for criminal offenses. And they've repeatedly asked WhatsApp that why don't you let us know the originator of the first originator of content. And WhatsApp has steadfastly refused, saying that, our entire end-to-end encryption and our architecture does not allow us. We have to change everything. We have to keep a track record of every single bit of information that is put out in the that is put out over WhatsApp. And I mean, the whole purpose of having a private kind of platform like WhatsApp would be defeated. Now, there have been documented cases of mob lynchings, heinous crimes, killings, where WhatsApp has been used. The use of WhatsApp is almost, it's more than 400 million in India. It's not just Facebook, but its sister company or sister organization that is arguably behind almost each and every major hate crime and mob lynching that has happened in India in the recent past. The numbers are absolutely shocking, are stupendous, as what Meetali has also pointed out. The kind of money that Facebook, WhatsApp uses to try and check abuse of its platform, its digital monopoly platform, is negligible when you look at the scale of the problem. In India, we have a population of about 135 billion. According to the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, the regulatory body, there were over 115 SIMs, SIMs, subscriber identity modules. What does this mean? That almost each and every person in India, out of these 750 million the total number of handsets or mobile handsets in India is about 750 million. And at least half is internet enabled, and almost all of them are using WhatsApp. So that's how big it is. Facebook, as has already been well documented, not just in the book. And by the way, the book is available in various languages. And this is a personal aside. While I was working on the book, I now learned from the forensic examination of my phone, my mobile phone, that while I was working on the book on Facebook, my phone was quote unquote compromised using the Pegasus software, which has been made by the Israeli firm NSO. That's another huge story. I'm one of the petitioners in the Supreme Court, which has recently set up a committee to look into this, because the government of India is neither confirming nor denying whether it has purchased that Israeli spyware. To return to Facebook, they have consistently said all the right things, but done nothing, absolutely nothing to check their platforms being abused for disseminating hateful, incendiary comment, which violates its own community standards. And this has been pointed out within India. Okay, Akhi Das has stepped down. There are very, very close links between the individuals who are holding important positions in Facebook India and government officials. You can read the book. Currently, my colleagues and I, we are undertaking an investigation. We've been working on it for more than a year which will actually establish this point that some of the top officials, the executives of Facebook India, are very, very, very close to the government of India, officials of the government of India, representatives of India's ruling party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, ruling regime. We know that it goes beyond the information technology cell. The Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi's own followers include people who have been called out more than once for spreading hateful, incendiary speech. The Prime Minister, in his infinite wisdom, has chosen not to, quote unquote, unfollow or unfriend, new words coined by the new digital platform owners, Mr. Zuckerberg and company. So this is the reality of India that we are living in. As has been pointed out by the speaker before me, they do a kind of very desultory, they want to show that we are trying to do something, but actually they're doing next to nothing. It's worse than hypocrisy. It is complicitness. I have deposed before official committees, including the one of the Delhi Legislative Assembly, which is looking into the Hindu-Muslim, the communal riots that took place in northeastern Delhi in February 2020. There are dozens and dozens of documented examples of how Facebook is complicit in this project of spreading hateful speech. It's happened across the world. In Myanmar, it's happened in Sri Lanka, it's happened in the United States, but very little has happened to check them. There is very little pushback, resistance to what is happening. So people are using these platforms. Yes, it's great. You can put all your family pictures. You can, remember. You don't have to remember the birthdays of all your friends. So I stopped. All I'm trying to say is that this government seems to be also immune to international pressure, but it's really civil society, digital literacy. All of us who are working through very difficult times, we have to try and do our best to make people, to use Ravish Kumar's phrase, and I conclude here, half of India's population is below the age of 27. A very substantial section of it are growing up in quote unquote WhatsApp university. They've been fed, indoctrinated on hateful information propaganda. And things are, I can't emphasize how bad the situation is.